Justin here, and on this quick video, hopefully, I'm going to show you how to set up HyperSync. HyperSync is very simple. To be honest, if you need a video to be able to set it up, I don't think you should be getting involved with HyperSpin in the first place. It's a very simple program. However, I need to make sure that you guys as a whole are set up in the same configuration that I've got. The problem with HyperSpin is if I'm going to do any kind of tutorials or guides or anything like that, I need to make sure we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, so our folder structures and the way we do things is all the same. It's a generic way. So when I ask you or guide you into something to do, you know exactly where it is instead of having files and folders all over the place and the translation gets lost. So this is a quick one just to make sure we get HyperSync set up, and it's also a quick overview as to what HyperSync is. To be honest, HyperSync is a godsend. It works in conjunction with HyperSpin. As we all know, HyperSpin is a very media intensive front end. That's the whole point of it. It translates all the boring stuff in your computer, like the emulators, the actual game files, all the settings and features and things like that. It translates them all and puts them into a front end that you can just scroll through. You scroll through your systems, your games, you can see videos, you can get information. It's a good front end, and HyperSync makes that 1,000 times easier to set up. Because as we talked about, HyperSpin, the actual setting up of HyperSpin is a piece of piss. It takes minutes, to be honest. I can set up a HyperSpin. The longest part of it is actually downloading the files. It's a very generic setting up. Once it's set up, it's done. You leave it. All you do is keep adding to it. So if you haven't looked into that, or if you haven't done it yet, have a look at my previous video. I'll put a link on the screen now. And if you have already got it set up, please again take a look at my video. It's not to tell you to suck eggs, it's just I want to make sure you've all got the latest edition first of all, and also you've all got it set up in kind of the same way that I have, or at least you know how I've got mine set up, so then you can translate it into your setup. Again, there's 1,000 different configurations that you can do with HyperSpin. It's all down to personal taste. I do mine in a certain way, other people may do it in different ways. But I need you all to be able to understand how it's set up so we can do things. I mean, people who pay for these drives, fine, pay for it. It may work. You might be the one in a billion people that I've seen that actually has a pre-configured drive that works. But I have never met one. I have never met one person who has a drive that has got everything working. So you need to know how it works, to be honest. And again, I'm waffling on, but HyperSync, I can't blow its trumpet enough. It really does make things 1,000 times better. Okay, so let's get stuck into this. You will need a paid account. I'm sorry, I warned you about this in the previous video. The issue is that all the artwork is free, all the media and things like that, it's all free. It's all on various sites, torrents and blah de blah. But the problem is that if you go to an official website, you're only allowed to download so many a day. I've got a games list of hundreds of thousands. If I want to download media for all that at 10 games a day, and that's just the videos, then I've got to think about the wheels, the themes, so on and so forth. I'm going to be here for at least the lifetime membership of 100 years to be able to get it to work the way I want it. So the easiest way to know that everything's named correct, everything's the most current, and everything's where it's supposed to be, is to use the HyperSync program. It has been developed well. It is a very good program, and not only do you get access to that, but you also get access to the FTP, which we'll talk about in a second. So it is worth the money in my eyes. Makes things 1,000 times better and gets you up and running in a matter of minutes. So anyway, again, waffling on, let's have a look. So first of all, if you haven't done so already, you need to get yourself a membership. it is $45. It is expensive for 100 years, but it's worth it in my eyes. You know, you can do it your way. You can muddle through, but if you're going to use HyperSync, you have to pay. That's the way it is, I'm afraid. So if you're not willing to pay, then you may as well turn it off now, to be honest, because you can't use it without paying. Sorry. $45 is roughly £30 and something pence in the UK after the exchange rate. It gives you access to all these features, which we'll run through as we're talking about it. Basically, it lets you sync up everything. And also, I'm afraid the most important one that you will need to do also is you will need a paid account in Emumovies. Now, Emumovies has had its donation monetaries, I don't know what you call that in a plural term, all its monies sorted out. It's done differently basically from what it used to. Let's have a look at what they've got here at the moment. As we've seen last time, if you watched the previous video, it's £30 annually or £60 for a lifetime subscription. Now, I was naughty the first time I did it. I've been setting this up for over a year, so after a few incarnations I'm still setting it up. However, it's £30 for a year, and then $30 for a year and $20 for every year after that annually. It's $60 if you go do it for a one-off. However, make sure that if you've already paid at HyperSpin, you're entitled to, I think it's 25%. Don't quote me on that one, I've got no idea. I don't get paid for any of this. You get a discount of some kind. I think it's 15 to 25, I'm not sure, but make sure you get that code, and then when you are subscribing to one of these, then you'll get that percentage off. Again, I think it is worth it. It's definitely worth it, to be honest, because, you know, hundreds of thousands of games, and it automatically syncs all the video and media for that. Emumovies is the actual movies, or the intros to each game and each system. So there is a hell of a lot of media that you're getting. And again, not only does that give you the access to the actual syncing of it with HyperSync, but it also gives you access to their FTP, which is an abundance of media as well. You can swim in the media that's on the Emumovies. God knows how big the servers are there, but it's a huge database of all kinds of media for anything to do, not with just HyperSpin, but all the front ends, to be honest. Anyway, enough of the waffle. Again, it's worth it. Buy it. Sorry, it's money, but you're looking at around $50 for the complete setup, really. So once you've got all that, make sure you've got a paid account. You know all your details. Your HyperSpin, again, you can just use HyperSpin account, but you won't get your movies. And I think Emumovies has got its own syncing tool, but I don't think it's as good, obviously, with HyperSpin, because HyperSpin works with HyperSync. You can do it manually, I suppose, but again, it's a very time-consuming thing. However, get yourself accounts with each, make sure you're paid up, and then you are at the level where you can use HyperSync to your own free will. So let's do that then. Let's log in. Bring yourself over to the actual. If you watch the previous videos, I've got my HyperSpin set up here. However, for the purpose of the tutorials that I'm going to be doing, I'm set up another version over here, which is kind of like my demo HyperSpin. And if you've already got HyperSpin set up, you can download HyperSync from the download section. It's available here. However, there's no point if you've already got HyperSpin, because it will come with the installation files. So if you have a look at wherever you installed HyperSpin, in my case it was in the D drive in the HyperSpin folder, and if you then go to the HyperSync cloud folder, you will find HyperSync. There you go. Now, again, HyperSync, I can't blow its trumpet enough. It is a very good program, but it does cost money. For me, it's a once in a lifetime cost, but it's worth it. It's very much worth it. If you're serious about setting yourself up with a very good front end, you will have to spend money on it. And these two memberships are the last of the money that you will have to spend. As far as I'm aware of, there's no other thing that costs money to set my setup up. Anyway, let's get on with it. HyperSync. Okay, let's load it up. I've deleted everything that I could off the system for my HyperSync in order for me to show you how it would be when you first boot it up. I think it would all be exactly the same as this. My account's not synced anymore for the purpose of this tutorial. However, I think I did change some of the settings in terms of colours, so yours will be the same layout, however colours may be different. I don't know, it's been a long time. Let's have a look at the front end then. This is it. You've got all your various buttons here, which again we'll talk about in a second, and you'll have this little news bit here which you can read through. However, I don't think this has been updated in some time. It's you know, if you look at the actual news bit, the last time that was updated in 2013. I don't know whose duty that is. I don't know how accurate it is. I've never even read through it. I hate things like that because it looks like one of them terms and conditions things. Not interested. Can't be asked to do one. Anyway, so first off we're gonna log in. So click on the login tab, which is situated here. This will bring you up with this little display or menu, and it's basically putting your details in. So first of all, it's your HyperSpin details. So mine is obviously Austin 585, and my password is none of your business. So hopefully that's right though. And I made sure that my Emumovies was exactly the same. There we go. Let's hopefully work. Okay, so then click on login. Look like that one worked, so HyperSpin's good. Emumovies, please work. No. Let's try that one again. Yeah, it's took it. So that's that set up. I'm now logged into both of them. Click OK, and that may now log me in. Yep, there we go. There's my nice little icon. Some nice sound effects to ensure my congratulations for logging into the HyperSync program. May I add, it's a lovely icon that I made. It represents all the key features of a good, hardy avatar. But we may go into that in later videos. Okay, so I'm logged in. The username's now showed up. I've got my avatar, so I now know that I'm logged into both HyperSpin and Emumovies. So I've got everything coming my way. All I need to do is set up the various systems. So we'll go through the tabs now. This is home, obviously. You've got these tabs here. I don't know what these do. I think they just send you to the actual various websites. Yeah, they just send you to the websites. We'll go across these tabs in a second. Okay, the one with the little gent sign on, or the toilet sign, whatever you call it in different countries. That takes you to your login details again. We don't need that really. And I think that individual system settings, we'll go on that in a second. First of all, we need to set up the actual HyperSync. That's a sync. Again, we'll cross that in a second. This is the important ones that we need to fill in. The folders. We need to tell HyperSpin where our actual folders are. So, where's our HyperSpin folder? This is pointing towards my other HyperSpin. So this time, what we're going to do is we're going to point it towards our, well, real HyperSpin. So, computer, we installed in D drive in our HyperSpin folder. And then that's it. D drive HyperSpin. Although we can't see our HyperSpin exe in this one, we know that that's our HyperSpin folder. So we click OK, and there we go. D HyperSpin. Again, download folder. Boom. It's not rocket science. There, computer, media, HyperSpin. Now this time, instead of telling us where the HyperSpin folder is, this time it wants our media folder. In other words, where all our art's going to go to. We'll talk about this in later videos, but just make sure you point it towards wherever your HyperSpin folder is, and then your media folder. So you want it HyperSpin media, and then you will have all your various media folders in there. So when it downloads things, it knows what folders to go to. So there's no, again, moving files and folders around. It's all done for you. So there we go. Click OK. So again, can't emphasize this enough. Whatever drive and folder your HyperSpin is installed in, and then the media folder within that. Okay, alternate video folders. That's if some people like to install all the videos basically that go along with all the games in a different drive or a different folder. It's because they can be very space intensive. If you're installing HyperSpin on a solid state drive, my dog's snowing in the background. If you're installing HyperSpin on a solid state drive, then it can fill up, well, solid states very quickly, especially when you've got MAME videos, Amiga videos, Spectrum, Commodore. The videos are thousands and thousands. Although they're very small, if you times each system by thousands, then it starts to fill space up very quickly. So if you're on a solid state drive, it may be worth installing it on a different drive, in which case click on and then you can point it towards wherever the actual media is. However, for now we'll keep it as this. Okay, so settings, adaptive path, just make sure all this is set for the way it is basically. Yeah, so basically all that's doing is saying it to put things in the folders where they should be. So we want it to be adaptive path, so it looks at the folders where they want. We want it to have errors on there, so if anything's wrong then it's going to tell us. Bandwidth throttle. Yep, I mean I'm not limited by my internet, so it's not really worth me throttling anything. So just put it on, but it's up to maximum. And HyperSync theme. Oh, this is where I change the colour. Do this and you can have it lovely different colours. I'm going to change mine to green so it goes with my setup really. And then next one, about, it's just probably very outdated stuff. Okay, there we go, all done for that section. Right, now we've got HyperSync set up as in the program. Now what we need to do is look at the systems themselves and make sure they're set up. So let's have a look. What we need to do is click on the individual system setting, the one that looks like a little arcade cabinet. I do apologise if you can hear my dog in the background. We went for a long walk a minute ago, so it can, she's a little tired. Okay, as you can see, my configuration for my various systems have come over from somewhere else, basically my other install. But I'm going to show you how to go through, for example, MAME. It will only set up, or it will only set up properly, systems that have already been enabled on your system. So as default you will already have MAME, your Nintendo consoles, your Sega consoles, the bare basics of, well, what I would expect on my system, to be honest. So for this example we're going to use, let's have a look, the Nintendo Entertainment System. How's about that? Because I think that's got everything that we may need. Okay, so First off, we need to look and choose what system we want to set up. Your list won't be as big as this, or it won't have the colours on there, because the ones with the highlighted sections are the ones that have already been set up. So if I click on this, it will have features already on there. If I was to click on that one, it's asking me, do you want to set up Nintendo disc? Well, no, because I don't at the moment, because I haven't got that installed on here yet. So you've got all these boxes down the right. As I click onto it, it will give you that warning saying, do you want to install that system? It's a yes. And on here you will probably have something like default all the way down, or do not sync all the way down. First off, what you need to do is make sure you've got the most well, that your emulator is set to the name of it. If you've once you've labeled everything correctly, which the systems will have as default in HyperLaunch, then they will sync up to the system that's in HyperSync. So this knows that it's using that system that's installed in your HyperLaunch and HyperSpin. It's syncing that to that, so it's syncing Nintendo Entertainment System in HyperSync to Nintendo Entertainment System in HyperSpin and HyperLaunch. So make sure that's showing up first of all. Next thing we need to do is, if you haven't got one already, be very skeptical on this one. Update database. Once that's showing up as correct, update your database. That will basically give a full database of all the games that's available on that system. It will make sure it's got the genres, the dates, the makes, and all the information for the various games, all on the XML officially wise, and install that database on your HyperSpin. Be very skeptical about that one. Make sure that it is a database that you want to use. If I was you, I'd back up any previous installs or any previous databases that you've already got, because it will overwrite anything that you've already got in there. Some systems, for example, the most current systems like the PlayStation 2, for example, or the PSP, which I don't even think's on here. Oh yeah, it is. They don't come with any information. You will have the option of updating the database. However, it will overwrite and the database will be blank, because nobody at HyperSpin wants to mess around with those systems, as you know, it's a bit highbrow due to the sensitivity of copyrights and things like that. So although you have got the features on there, don't do anything like that unless you're working with the older systems. Again, I'm waffling. So Nintendo Entertainment System, you will be safe on that one. So update database, ensure that everything, you will have a little sound. If I just do it.
Updated database for Nintendo Entertainment System.
There we go, you get some guy who's American-ish spouting crap in me here. Okay then, so here is some other little tabs that you can open. We're going to focus on system first of all. So you got system. Here you can say what box art you want. Box art, you want it to be 3D, 3D Willy Wonka, or default. What you can do, and what works sometimes, not all the time, is click on one, click preview, and hopefully, I say hopefully, it probably won't now. No, it doesn't want to play. Ah, there you go. So you click on one and you click preview, and sometimes, I wouldn't say all the time, you will get a preview of the box or the artwork which is being downloaded. There you go. And then you want to tell it where you want to do. Again, we will be sorting this out in a while, so don't worry too much about this. I would keep it as probably the default that ever comes up, or if worse comes to worse, make sure that these are either in artwork 3 or 4. Again, we'll go into more detail on this one. So in this option for the box art, we've got a 3D version. The first 3D version, it's not telling us. Oh, it is now. There you go. And there's one 3D version. Or you've got the other 3D version, which is Willy Wonka style. And there you go, another version of it. So you've got two options there, and then you will have the default, which is this, which is usually the 2D version, which is just the front cover itself. Okay, so all you need to do is choose whatever one of them you like the best, or whichever one goes with your theme the best, more importantly. So let's choose that one for example. I want that in artwork 3. carta, as in the actual cartridges that's going to be plugged into the system, or used to be plugged into the system back in the day. Again, you've got various different styles of that one. It's quite a nice one. Default, just a bit of 2D, very nice. And you got top. Don't actually know what this is like. Yeah, that's nice. That actually be very nice as a wheel if you didn't have the wheel, but we do have the wheel, so we don't need it. Anyway, so you got those. I'm going to choose for this example default on that one, and then you go through your other settings, wheel art, the actual wheel art that comes with it, preview. This will just be hopefully a picture of a game. So there you go, the actual title of the game as written on the box. It's supposed to be the game written on the box in all its glory. Okay, so we'll leave that as default. Themes, sync. Themes are, you've automatically got your system theme. That's the theme that is, as soon as you load up HyperSpin, you've got a list of Sega Mega Drive, Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo Entertainment System, MAME, blah blah. That's got a theme, and then you've got your default theme, which is once you click onto the default system, like you click onto MAME, then you've got your wheel, which goes up and down, which we just talked about then. Go up and down. Now what you can have is it to sync themes for each game. Sounds very good, and it is very good, to be honest. I like it on my arcade setups or arcade systems. I don't like it on my console systems. The problem is that it tends to take time for each theme to load up. Yeah, I don't mean in terms of it has to load. Right? It's got a lot of special effects, so I don't know, a flag will come swooping in from one side and a guy will come running in from the other, and there's huge explosions and stuff like that. And it looks very good. However, if you are flicking through your game trying to find one that you like, it takes twice as much time, because what you're doing is you're waiting for themes to load rather than actual scrolling through and looking for games. So for my consoles, I like to leave it as normal, as in no themes, but for arcade ones, I like it on there because it brings a bit of atmosphere to it, and there's that many arcade games that I don't even know what they're like, so it's nice to have themes to try and represent the artwork that went with the arcade machine. So, you know, if you like themes, put it on. If not, but you can always download all the themes, in this case we will, and then not enable them when you're actually running HyperSpin. And then if you change your mind, you can always just enable them and you've already got them downloaded. So completely up to you. But if you're saving bandwidth, or if you're tiered for your internet or your internet service provider, then it's something to consider. Letters is when you're scrolling through HyperSpin, you can go up and down to use your wheel. If you keep your finger on left or right, basically it will load up a letter, so you can scroll through the letters, so you can quickly get from A to B quickly. Let's have a look. Default. The ones that are with the, you will have automatically have them installed as default, the default letters, but each system has also got some nice letters in the style of often the logo. So as you can see, it's like the Nintendo layout with the style of the font and the surroundings of the Nintendo logo. It's a nice effect. I like it. And the pointer, default. And the pointer is just the thing that goes next to the wheel, so that animates slightly, so as you rolling through it, you get to see the where you're looking at. I wouldn't say it's useful because it's quite obvious, because you don't really need a pointer, but it adds another feature for your HyperSpin, and it's worth downloading. And sounds, some of the systems have got their own sounds. I don't think this has. Oh yeah, it has. So you can download sounds. However, I hate the sounds because it's nice listening to one every now and again, but if you're scrolling through thousands of games and you're pressing that button all the time, it can become quite annoying to listen to. So I just like the little click sounds. But again, your own prerogative. You choose whatever you want. So that's all the visual media set up, the actual system itself, which is in this case the Nintendo Entertainment System. You then go on to the video setup. And what's this asking you is sync videos. So each game that's on the system, do you want to sync them up? So obviously yes, because that's the whole point of having an account over at Emumovies. And if you haven't got an account at Emumovies, this won't work, so no. And sync intros. Intros are when you're going through your system wheel, for example, changing from MAME to Dreamcast to Master System to SNES and blah de blah. You have an intro to the actual system. Do you want to sync that one? So in this case we'll put yes. And that's your videos. It's quite a bog standard one. You have got a little display here. To be honest, that's the first time I've ever seen it working. But it does work as a program in installing them on my system. But that's the first time I've ever installed a demo and seen it working. So hats off to whoever either fixed that, or non-hats off to me for being so stupid as to not know how that works. Okay, so that's your video setup now. This is your main menu. Do you want the main menu theme? Yes, we will sync the main menu theme. And do you want the menu wheel? So what's that all about? Again, as we talked about, that's the menu theme, as in you're scrolling through Master System, Mega Drive, Game Boy, blah de blah. You're scrolling through the main systems. You want a theme that goes with that. You will, on this system, most definitely have it already installed anyway. But do you want it anyway? Yes, I'll download it just in case it's been updated. And main menu wheel. That's the wheel that goes along with it. So as you're scrolling through the wheel of, say again, Sega Mega Drive, Game Boy, blah de blah, the actual wheel icon that goes with it. So in this case it will be Nintendo Entertainment System, the actual wheel. So we'll put that on there and we'll preview that. So there you go, the bog standard Nintendo Entertainment System. Obviously that will already be in the wheel, but as you start adding more systems, obviously you will get to systems that haven't got the artwork in there yet. So it's good to put them in. And that's another version of it. These normally have a border. Well, it shows the preview. Doesn't like it. There we go. So that's exactly the same one, but it's got a border basically. Not a fan of it, but personal preference, personal taste, so it's up to you at the end of the day. Anyway, there we go. So we've set up our Nintendo Entertainment System, for example. All these systems will now, all this configuration that we just set up for the system will now be saved once we click close. So once you've got everything happy in the way you want it to be synced, click close, and you'll be greeted again with this system, this menu. All you need to do is then go over to your sync, which we talked about earlier on, and then you will be greeted with these two drop down boxes, system and media. So what we need to do now is we've just sorted out our Nintendo Entertainment System. So click on that and it will give us a list of every system that we currently have installed and running through HyperSync. So we've just set up Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo Entertainment System, where have you gone? There we go. As you can see, it's not in alphabetical order, which can be quite annoying when your list gets big. But, you know, we all have bigger grudges somewhere else. So that's your system. Then we need to choose what media we want to download for that one. We've set up everything on this one, so you can individually, say for example, download all the game wheels or all the boxes or all the carts if you think that you just want those. There you go. So on this example we'll download everything. So were downloading everything for the Nintendo Entertainment System. As you can see, you've got these little information snippets here, and this will be a bar which will start to fill up as we start to download. Point to note, sometimes you don't want to download things. Say for example, you found yourself the best set of boxes ever in the world, and you want to keep the boxes that you've already got. You don't like the ones that are in the system setup. You think they are disgusting and you wouldn't even piss on them. So let's have a look. Nintendo Entertainment System. You want to get the boxes out of your life. They are disgusting. Boom. Do not sync. Do not sync. So basically you're telling it to download everything, but don't sync the boxes, because I want to keep the ones that I've got. Once you download something from here, if you've got it in the same artwork folder as this, it will overwrite all the boxes that you've already got, or all the media that you've already got, depending on, you know, what you've got already. So if you've got something that you want to save, make sure when you're syncing the system you put it as do not sync. Or another way is to go to that folder and make another folder within it. That's what I do, and I normally back up everything that's there. So I've already got a backup just in case I sync through what I want to save, because sometimes, yeah, there is art everywhere, especially when you upgrade to the Platinum membership. There is art all over the place. However, it can be quite jumbled, but again, we'll talk about that later. So if you want to keep something, make sure you do not sync. So we'll go back to where we were, close out of this. That should then save that we don't want to sync that stuff. We'll then go to our sync. We will choose the Nintendo, which is completely out of order, and we want to sync everything. Now it's just a case of putting in begin sync. Internet required. What the hell's going on? My internet's been playing up recently. Okay. Finally. And there you go. You click begin sync and everything will start to sync up. As you can see, it's damn fast. Everything is downloading. Well, I think I put 1,000 kilobits per second on mine. My internet runs at about 800-900, so I'll probably max out just over 900, to be honest. It's not very fast, mine, but it is unlimited, so I can't grumble. And there we go. You just have to go and make yourself a cup of tea, or you can simply just minimize in the background. Now, if I was to go to, what's it downloading at the moment? Where's that going? Where's it going? Here. That's currently doing the game carts. So, if I was to then go to, we're in our media folder, we're in our HyperSpin folder, we then go to our media, we look for Nintendo Entertainment System, images that we're downloading, and I believe we went to either 3 or 4 for the carts. I think it was actually 4. There we go. You can see they're all downloading, and they're downloading pretty quick. Now if you take into consideration that if you didn't have HyperSync you would be doing 10 at a time, you'd be there forever, downloading every system, so many at a time. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun at all. But now it's just doing the entire system for you. The problem is that I'd say the negative to actually HyperSync is that HyperSync is only as accurate as the people who's updating HyperSync, and I'm not going to lie to you, HyperSync hasn't been updated in some time. Some things will never change. Say for example the carts and the boxes for Nintendos and the various systems, and the wheels, they don't change. There's minor updates every now and again, but in all, the same wheels have been used now as they were in, I don't know, 2010. So there's no need to have major updates and things. Sometimes, however, there are game themes on arcade classics and things like that, and it would be nice to get an update. But with the membership that goes with HyperSync and the Platinum membership, you've got access to the FTP. You will need a program like FileZilla, that's what I use, and that enables you to link to the actual FTP server, in other words another hard drive owned by HyperSpin, and on there is an abundance, I mean it's massive the amount of artwork that's on there. So is it worth it? Yes, HyperSync is definitely worth it. It's worth it for the movies alone. In later videos, as we're doing the systems, I'll release artwork that isn't included with HyperSync, especially the widescreen versions, because I want you to have the complete setup. I don't want you to have either the snide ones that are released by the people who have the hard drives, who just throw systems together and throw actual systems which no one will ever play and only half work, and in some cases don't even give you the games for them. And so when you do get it, you have to then set up the emulator for your system, and then you then have to install the games and make sure that the games are all written in the same names and blah de blah. And to be honest, you may as well just set up your entire system yourself for free anyway. So again, don't buy anything off any dodgy guy selling hard drives out of his loft or putting together computers out of his loft, because number one, you've got no comeback. You can't exactly just go on to his website and say, oh, you didn't, my drive doesn't work. He'll just say, so what, see you later, cheers, easy, thanks for the money. And he will only choose, say for example you kick off on his YouTube channel and you go on there and you write something, he'll just delete your comment. It's easy. So all he gets is positive comments only seen on his YouTube channel. That's the whole reason why you bought it in the first place. So don't buy anything apart from actual memberships to the official websites. That's all I'm saying. Okay then, so I've waffled on again. This is supposed to be a quick video. I've probably gone on now for about an hour, but we've got quite a lot of information out there. So that's that for now. That's HyperSync, and bear with me, later on today I'm going to try and get at least the arcades or maybe a console system set up for you. Okay guys, thanks a lot. You have fun. Bye.